this is a personal tale. As I said, it's a personal reflection. That's a picture of me and my father. Now, my father is 86 and he has a number of health conditions. And unfortunately, during the last 6 months, he developed a growth on his head, a little cancer spot on his head. And normally what we'd have done is we'd have rung our local doctor. Our doctor would have made an appointment for my father to go and see him. We'd have gone to see the doctor. The doctor would have examined my father's head. He would have diagnosed the problem. Having diagnosed the problem, he would have referred my father to a consultant that deals with the kind of cancer that my dad had on his head. Eventually, my father would go and see the consultant. The consultant would confirm what the problem was, and then he'd make a follow-on appointment for my father to go and have that growth removed. Because of COVID-19, doctors are far more easy and relaxed about working online. And so instead of going to see the GP asked, could we send him a picture of my father's head? The GP looked at the picture and determined that he thought it was cancer on his head, so forwarded the email with the picture to the consultant. The consultant looked at the picture and confirmed that he thought it was cancer. And so he made an appointment for my father to go in, not to see him for a consultation, but to go in to have the growth removed. And so I can't remember the exact day, but within a few days, that growth was removed in a very seamless process where an image was taken, an image was sent, an image was examined by 2 doctors, and a decision was made, appointment was made, and the growth was removed. A process in the UK would have probably taken several weeks, was reduced to several days. Now, one of the things that I've been doing in terms of my research is looking at big data, in particular within the health service. And what we've been doing is analysing very large pools of data drawn from across Wales, one of those countries within the United Kingdom. And what we have with big data is extremely large data sets that may be analysed computationally to reveal patterns, trends and associations, especially relating to human behaviour and interactions. Big data is a term that describes the large volume of data, both structured and unstructured, that inundate a business or other system on a day-to-day basis. And in terms of business, it's not the amount of data that's important, it's what organizations do with that data. And doing useful things with this data has given rise to data science, a new title subject. And again, that's one of my research areas. But during COVID-19, we've been collecting even more data. People are now using online systems to check in with their doctor. We're now collecting more images than we've ever done before. And so going forward, there will be a big growth within the UK and hopefully around the globe in big data and the use of that big data to help us. Now, I've copied and pasted a slide from one of the introductory lectures that I've done with my students. And one of the things that we want to do with big data is learn from it. And one of the techniques that we use to learn from that data is what we call machine learning. I don't know if these 2 characters are well known in India, but they're certainly well known amongst children in the UK. And what we have is, as an example of what machine learning is all about. One character, Bugs Bunny, might feed data into a machine learning algorithm about food that their friend Mickey Mouse likes and food that they do not like. And the task of the algorithm is to accomplish and to learn how to differentiate between the 2 things, that food that are liked and food that is disliked. On the other hand, the friend Mickey Mouse might feed the same algorithm, and that's important, it's the same algorithm, different data about the clothes Bug Bunny likes and dislikes. And without altering a single line of code, the same algorithm can solve both tasks based solely on the data. And so what we're doing more and more, and what we've done is gathered more and more data during COVID-19 because of all kinds of reasons, people working online and moving online, and now beginning to use these machine learning algorithms to plow through that data and to learn patterns within that data. Now, what we're doing with these algorithms is learning from the data. It's a bit like the way that our brains have learned over our lifetime. When we were born, we had a brain that had brain cells, but the brain cells over our lives have adapted and they have changed as we've encountered new data, as we've encountered new experience, where we've learned things, and that learning is really our brain adapting to various processes and stimuli and data. Now, very often, what we want to do is once we've trained our model, once we've trained our brain, we want to use it in situations that we've not seen previously. And that's what we're doing with these models that we're building, that we're refining through using the data. We're building models that allow us to be able to operate in environments that were previously unseen, with data that was previously unseen. And again, because of online learning and because of the way that we're beginning to collect data, we can now have multiple learning algorithms. It's a bit like me asking you a question as a group, and instead of just taking one answer, what I could do is I could take the answer from all of you and somehow combine the answers together to work out what was the most likely answer if some of you had given different answers. And again, that's what we're looking to do with this machine learning using big data. Another big area that has changed for us is the way that we've been teaching and learning. I was in work on a Monday afternoon, and on the Monday evening, our government declared that people should stay at home and, if all possible, work from home. And students should, if at all possible, they should go home and they should learn from home. And that was just over 6 months ago. That was at the start of March the 16th, so just over 6 months ago. And for the last 6 months, universities across the whole UK have been online. Now, we did begin to see some of the universities in the UK begin to open again at the end of September. Most of them should have been opening next week, October, for the start of the new term. But if you follow the UK news, you'll see that cases of COVID-19 are increasing again across the UK and across Europe. And as a result, there's been a reversion, and now things are going back online again. And in all probability, they'll be online for the next academic year. So COVID-19, one of my friends, he was one of the co-authors of this paper, Tom Crick, COVID-19, the digital disruption in UK universities, afflictions and affordances of emergency online migration. We've had to learn very, very quickly. As I said, we were in the office teaching very traditionally, using blackboards, using whiteboards, standing up in front of students and talking. And the next day, everything had changed. There was no planning, there was no forethought, there was no 6 months or a year or 2 years to plan and to think. It was overnight. And to be honest, there were some things that we did wrong. There were some things that we got confused about. But generally, over the last 6 months, there has been a lot of learning. And in the UK, I don't think we will ever go back to doing everything the way we did before.